Hello again, and welcome back to another episode of the Cellcast presents Untangling Kingdom Hearts. We are still in the middle of Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, Unchained Key, or whatever we want to call it. And today we are looking at the cutscenes, a failed attempt in Agrabah, and then going back to Daybreak Town Moogle, we are going to be looking at Taking Flight. If you're wondering why we're only covering 2 cutscenes today, it is simply because the current story appears to finish sometime around right after the second chapter, or a new chapter starts, I should say, in the next cutscene. So I went ahead and decided to put the break here, and plus, there is a lot of story that happens around these 2 cutscenes. So let's just go ahead and jump into that. When we last left our hero, he was heading to another world in order to find some more Gummi blocks. In this case, he went to Agrabah. While looking for Gummi blocks, we pass a guard who's realized that one of the other guards had gone out to the desert and he should have already been back, but can't go check for him himself. So, of course, you send the small boy who's wielding a rather large key. Surely he can be the savior that this town needs. We run into Aladdin, who is, of course, still looking for the Red Bandit, and he thought he had heard a rumor that he was out there, but it ended up not being him. Tells us to be careful out in the desert as he heads back into town, and we go out continuing to search for this guard, or key player does anyway. After defeating a fat bandit Heartless, we come across the other guard, who had apparently gotten in some kind of trouble while he was trying to defeat it, and then asks the question you should never ask: what would happen if that thing happened to be in the important place? In this case, what if one of those had found its way to the palace? So guess what happens in the next scene as you head back from the desert with the guard? Yes, that's right. Not just any old fat bandit Heartless found its way back to the city, but apparently the same fat bandit Heartless made it back. So the guard is going to attack him and says, "Hey, kid, can you watch over the city for me while I go take this thing out?" And so we do so. Or key player does, anyway. It is, of course, key player who ends up defeating said fat bandit Heartless after finding him on a bridge. After we defeat the fat bandit Heartless, the cutscene finally begins, and it starts with the Red Bandit finally showing up again. I am, of course, still assuming that that's what this Heartless is, in the red shorts, and with the turban on his head that's got gold and a treasure chest wrapped up in it. Aladdin shows up and says, "I'll take him," and proceeds to get his butt kicked. And yes, he did get his butt kicked while we were helping him, so technically key player got his butt kicked too. Aladdin is still worried about where Abu is. Key player offers to help him, but Aladdin says, "Well, thanks, you seem like a good person, but Abu wouldn't want you to worry yourself looking for him. I'm going to keep looking for him, and if I need your help, I'll give you a call somehow, and come back when I'll let you know when I need your help again." And then key player leaves and continues searching the city for any remaining Heartless because we still haven't found the Gummi block we're looking for. After randomly killing a bunch of different Heartless, we apparently did at least find the Gummi block Heartless, defeated him, and key player runs up on the guards again. The first guard, the one that we found out in the desert, says, "Hey, it's you. You did good, but keep vigilant." He didn't say vigilant, but that's the word that's coming to my mind. But just keep at it. Be wary, because you never know when they're going to attack again. The other guard says, "Hey, you're pretty good with that strange sword." And that's pretty much where it ends. Chirity comes back out and says, "Well, we got the Gummi block. Why don't we go ahead and head back to Daybreak Town and get it turned back in, and then we can move on with our lives." And we teleport back to, or key player teleports back to Daybreak Town. Chip and Dale thank us for returning so many of the parts, but says they still need a few more. So do us a favor and quickly look around town and see if you can find some more Gummi blocks. And we do come across another Gummi block Heartless in the form of a boss fight. This is guard armor, a boss heartless type that is essentially made up of 6 pieces of armor that are purple. We will come across this guy again in the original Kingdom Hearts when we get to that. But for now, key player defeats the guard armor, and we finally return the last pieces of the Gummi ship back to Donald, Goofy, Chip, and Dale. As we return to the courtyard where they have been rebuilding the Gummi ship, we see that it actually finally looks like a spaceship. In fact, it looks just like the Gummi ship from the other Kingdom Hearts games. Chip and Dale are testing it to make sure it works. Donald and Goofy are inside the main bubble, and they say, hey, test the engine. Donald says, it's this button, right? He pushes it, and the Gummi ship starts glowing, and Goofy says, no, you idiot. No, he didn't say no, you idiot, but the idiot was implied. And he says, well, we got to take off now, or the whole thing's going to go kaput. He says, well, where's King Mickey? And King Mickey shows back up, jumps into the Gummi ship, and then they all fly off. Chirity comes back and says, well, they were quite a friendly but noisy bunch. And then says something incredibly interesting. He says, so he's the king. Chirity knows a lot more than he's letting on. Or she's letting on. I honestly don't know what Chirity's gender would be. But, yeah. The scene kind of comes to an end there, but not before we come back to our Moogle friend who was trying to get all the Gummi blocks before us. And it appears he's built a Gummi ship of his own in the shape of a blocky Moogle. After saying now he can set up shop anywhere in the world, he says, now we gotta take this thing for a test drive. So he jumps up onto the machine. And then he sticks his head off the other side. And then underneath. And then says a phrase I think we've all run into from time to time when we've perhaps bitten off a bit more than I can chew. How do you get in this thing? Distraught, the Moogle says, well, back to the drawing board. And we get another little message pop up on the screen that says, the king and his friends went home to their world. Why not take a journey of your own? And that's where we're going to end it here. This whole bit here with Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Chip and Dale looking for Gummi ship parts, it was a little interesting, but not completely. If we're being perfectly honest, I'm still curious as to how they got back here, but I don't know how they got back here. There's nothing in the story kind of told us, because it was all just go find Gummi blocks and slowly advance the stories that started prior to this, which kind of worked, but we'll see how that goes as we come through this. I will say I have gone and looked up on the chronological list where when we come back to Agrabah, and it's not for a long time. I say a long time. It's not for a while anyway. Probably in terms of the release schedule, it might be a couple months till we come back to Agrabah. So I will have to remind you what happened, probably. But yeah, next time we are going to be jumping into 3 scenes in Daybreak Town, Chirity, which are Chirity's Story, The Foretellers, and Another World. So join us back for that. In the meantime, this has been Drew, and I guess we'll catch you in the next world. The Cellcast is a member of the Pop Americana and Culture Box Media Networks. For more information about shows in those networks, please check the links in the description. The Cellcast presents Untangling Kingdom Hearts as a production of the Cellcast podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at cast_cell, on Facebook at the Cellcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, and you can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com or visit us on our webpage at thecellcast.podbean.com. Our theme music is Trinity by Tyler Spirian and is a remix of the song Dearly Beloved by Yoko Shimomura from the franchise Kingdom Hearts. The Cellcast podcast has no affiliation with Square Enix, Disney, or for that matter anyone else connected to the Kingdom Hearts franchise. The Cellcast Presents Untangling Kingdom Hearts is a fan production and no copyright infringement is intended or implied. Kingdom Hearts is owned by both Disney and Square Enix. This podcast also is not intended to be a replacement for playing the games. Please go and play them yourself.